Hello everyone, this is Dave. In a previous video, I showed how to make an easy amplifier using the LM386 op amp and just a handful of other parts. If you didn't catch that video, there will be a link in the description below. Also, you may want to check out another one of my videos, how potentiometers work. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to add a volume and a gain control. But before we get started, we need to answer the questions. What is volume? And what is gain? Volume is the overall output level of an audio circuit. Gain is the increasing level between the input and the output of an audio circuit. For this project, you'll need the LM386 amplifier circuit. Also, you'll need a 10K potentiometer and either a 2K or a 5K potentiometer. I don't have any 2K potentiometers, so today I'm going to use a 5K potentiometer. Also, you'll need a 10 UF capacitor and 4 additional jumper cables. In other applications, such as an effect pedal or an electric guitar, you'll want the volume control right before the output. But since we're building an amplifier, we're going to put the volume control at the input. That way, there's less chance of distortion. So first, we'll need to disconnect the input wire from the number 3 pin of the LM386 op amp and plug it into an empty space on the breadboard. Now it's time to place our 10K potentiometer in the breadboard. When we turn the level up on the volume control, we want the highest point to be all the way to the right, or fully clockwise. So we've plugged in the potentiometer so that the input wire is on pin number 3, or the pin furthest to the right. Next, we need to add a ground wire. We'll put the ground wire on pin number 1 of the potentiometer. And then we'll connect the other end to ground. The middle pin, or the wiper pin, will be our output signal, which goes into the input, or pin number 3, of the LM386 op amp. For this, we're going to use a yellow wire. Now we have added a volume control. On paper, this is what the volume control would look like. Let's try it out. If we turn the potentiometer to the left, or fully counterclockwise, the volume will be all the way down. If we turn the potentiometer clockwise, or to the right, the volume increases. Adding the volume knob does not give us any additional volume. It just allows us to decrease the volume that we have. When the potentiometer is turned fully clockwise, with the volume all the way up, then it is just like if we had no volume knob connected at all. Next, we're going to use the 10 UF capacitor and the 5K potentiometer to add a gain control. Currently, this amplifier circuit is at its base gain. We have not increased the gain at all, but once we add the 10 UF capacitor between pins number 1 and pins number 8, we will increase the gain. So we want to start with the positive leg of the 10 UF capacitor. Let's bend it out some to give us a little space. This is the positive leg. We want to plug the positive leg into pin number 1 of the LM386 amplifier. We want to connect the negative pin to pin number 8. This will give us a fixed gain. Now let's turn up our volume. You may have noticed that adding this 10 UF capacitor has increased the overall volume of the circuit to the point where if I turn the volume all the way up, we're now getting some distortion. What we can do to fix this is we can add the 5K potentiometer and use it to control the amount of gain that we're getting in the circuit. To do this, we need to remove the positive leg of the 10 UF capacitor from pin number 1, and we can leave the negative leg plugged into pin number 8. Now the negative leg is still plugged into pin number 8, but the positive leg is plugged into an open rail. Now we need to plug our 5K potentiometer into the breadboard. When we installed the volume control, we were using it as a voltage divider, but the gain control will be used as a variable resistor. So we are only going to be using 2 of the pins of the 5K potentiometer. We're going to be using the middle pin, or the wiper, and we're going to be using the 3rd pin, all the way to the right. First, we'll connect the yellow wire to the 3rd pin of the potentiometer. Next, we'll connect the other end of the yellow wire to the number 1 pin of the LM386 op amp. Now we're going to connect the blue wire to the middle pin, or the wiper pin. The other end of the blue wire will be connected to the positive leg of the 10 UF capacitor. On paper, this is what the gain control would look like. Now, let's turn up the volume control. We'll start with the gain control turned all the way to the left, or counterclockwise. This means the gain control will be turned all the way down. This will be as if we never added the 10 UF capacitor to the circuit. Now, we can add gain. You'll notice that when the gain was turned all the way up, I was getting distortion, just like when I had the 10 UF capacitor plugged straight into the LM386. But when I turned it down just a little bit, the distortion went away, and I was still able to have a little bit more volume out of the circuit. In some applications, you may want the distortion. For instance, if I was using this for a small practice guitar amp, then I may want to be able to turn the gain all the way up and get the distortion. But if you're just listening to music through an audio device plugged into this amplifier, then you probably don't want the distortion. And that's where the gain control comes in handy, because you can get a little more volume, but you can also control the gain to keep from getting distortion. Now, you know how to add a volume and a gain control to the LM386 amplifier. Be sure to check out my other videos. And there will be more audio-related electronics videos to come. Thanks for watching.